we've talked of tonight, or any issues you've thought of, what are the two most important issues in your view that face Blytheville?
The two most important issues would be cleanup and jobs. It's our hope that, again, that in our economic, that we have a safe place to live, that everybody has a nice or decent place to live and how to survive. One of the things that in economic development, again, is that really concerned me was a study that was done in Boston called the broken windows theory. And the police were out there and they kept wondering, what in the world can we do to revitalize this community and how we can do these type of things. And they partnered with our code enforcement. They partnered with all of these other areas, other businesses, and they wanted to know what could they do to change things. And finally, there was this little woman that was sitting on the porch that the mayor walked by there, and he was looking at her, and she was just sitting in the rocking chair. He said, well, we're trying to clean this up. She said, you're not going to. He said, well, why not? She said, you're not going to until you tear down that house with all those broken windows in it, because all of your problems still are going back, and they're hiding in that old house. So we've got to go back and change the way that we do things by actually cleaning up, like you said, our neighborhoods, creating an atmosphere for children to not feel like they're impoverished, to help the growth of just a way of life of the people that are living within our communities, and to change their minds and to give them hope. To give them a hope and a desire to even seek the jobs that we're talking about out here trying to do. Education is going to be that key. Right now you have partnerships. We're looking outside the areas and wondering how can we do things, but we've got the Blytheville School District has partnered with the ANC and the Great River Promise. Corporate partnerships, and local industry. These corporate partnerships are working right here today in Blytheville. We don't have to go outside and look at all new models to try to determine anything. But the city's job is to provide an opportunity for that change. And as your mayor, that's what I would do. I would help provide that opportunity for that change for the people that live in the community. You can't just change people's minds, but you can try to change their circumstances and then provide them with the opportunity to change. And that's what my hope is to do, is to try to seek those different areas and make Blytheville a better place in our business community that would create jobs, and within our residential communities that would give children a safe place to live. So this is just one big gamut. This is just one big ball that we have to work with, and that I would do as your mayor.
Thank you, Ms. White.
Would you repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am, I will. Of all the issues you've considered in your run for mayor, what are the two most important issues in your view that are facing Blytheville?
The deteriorating of the infrastructure of our city, and the high unemployment rate, which is more than the state of Arkansas, which is 11.7%. Those are the two vital parts that I see that we have to attack, because our quality of life, when you say quality of life, it takes in everything. It's not only the cultural, but it's being able to get up and walk out your house and know that your streets are to a point where you can drive up without holes in your streets, that you can walk out your house and you don't have to be scared that snakes are around your steps and rodents are there, because there's so many dilapidated houses on each side. The partnership that I have asked and have been working on is, and nobody, I was researching this, Habitat for Humanity. I've worked with them in the past years, and that's an opportunity for this city and for individuals in the city to come in and to rehab their houses as well as to build their houses. And I called and am still waiting for the representative in Blytheville for Habitat for Humanity. But that's something where you can see participation of your city dwellers, the people who live in the community, to take responsibility and have opportunities to rebuild and to live in affordable, decent housing. That is a necessity for any building or revitalizing any community, any city. And that has to be the main focus. How you do that? You do that by becoming fiscal responsible, meaning your finances. We need to know where the money goes. We need to know where it has been going and where it will go. As a mayor and as a city council person, I have been vigilantly on making sure that the money that is there is being used for the purpose that it is supposed to be. And I think that we could already have been a growing city besides now just talking about it. I think when the Air Force left, it afforded us a real good opportunity to grow and to continue to expand. And we didn't take advantage of that, but we can now. This is our time. We can do the things if we sit down and make sure that the things in place that need to be for us to rebuild so people are not leaving, but they're coming, can happen.
Thank you. Mr. Abbott.
I think it's interesting that all three of us kind of have a different idea about the most important issues, and all these issues certainly are important. I think the two things that I've picked out are more of root problems rather than symptoms of the existing problem. And so number one, and I've mentioned this several times, and I'm not the only one that's mentioned it, but the budget has got to be the number one priority for the city of Blytheville, because we can't clean up, we can't bring in new jobs if we don't have the funds and the facilities to do the things that are necessary in order for that to happen. I think that it's vitally important that we spend time making sure that all of the revenue that's supposed to be coming in, that we look for every possible income source that there is. That involves being involved with state and federal people and making sure that we get our proper amount of tax money that's coming through, and that we work hard, diligently every single day to get grant money and those kind of things. And certainly we have some bond issues that are expiring, and it's going to give us a little bit of relief as far as the budget's concerned, even without that. But I just believe that we need to look at every single revenue source. There are some additional revenue sources that won't affect the citizens of Blytheville, and I think that we need to jump on those things as quickly as we can. So we need to find all possible income sources, but we also need to make sure that our expenses are being controlled, that we have controls on those things as well. And that's the reason that I say that we need to have a top to bottom evaluation of every department, making sure that they are using the money that's allotted to them in exactly the proper direction, that there's no money being wasted, that there's no money just being thrown away. So we need to look in every department at their policies, at their procedures, at their personnel, and make sure that they have exactly what they have need of. And the second most important issue, again, not one, we talked about this a little bit earlier on, and that is perception. Again, if we're going to bring new businesses in, and if we're going to try to attract people to Blytheville instead of having all the people that are leaving Blytheville, we've got to change the culture. We've got to change our attitude. We need to transform the mindset in the city of Blytheville. And I think that has to happen mentally first. But we do it by talking positively instead of negatively about so many different things. And this is a long-term process. This isn't something that's going to necessarily take place as we start talking about changing the culture. It's not something that's going to happen in a 4-year term. But hopefully we can put something in place that'll work. If we don't change people's perception, we're not going to have people coming in. And so that's number 2 for me.
Thank you.